When the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world last year, young people were affected greatly. Life moments such as proms, graduations, and other festivities were canceled, postponed, or held virtually. High schools and colleges moved to remote learning, sports were canceled, and the day-to-day life as a teen and young adult filled with friends and social activities were canceled. As the world proceeds to vaccinated citizens, the younger generation is more hesitant than other age groups. However, young people are fueling an uptick in the COVID-19 cases around the country. Young people are also showing up more in intensive care units with life-threatening symptoms and are more prone to what is known as long COVID. Scientists and experts agree that the only way to end the COVID-19 pandemic is by being vaccinated to achieve herd immunity. Herd immunity can occur when a large portion of a community becomes immune to the disease, causing the spread of the disease to be more unlikely. The community, not just those protected, become immune. Over the past year, young people have been portrayed as ambivalent when it comes to adhering to pandemic safety protocols. Large social gatherings, parties, and traveling to COVID hotspots were frequently displayed on social media, depicting young people showing absolutely no concern for the pandemic that shut the world down in 2020. The Chicago Defender wanted to talk to vaccinated teens and young adults between the ages of 16 and 25 to hear their thoughts on the COVID-19 pandemic. Why did they decide to get vaccinated? How serious are young people taking this pandemic? And what they want other young people to know. Check out my roundtable discussion with the youth today.
So I want to start and just ask each of you guys, what's your name, your age, if you're a student, if you're not, what your occupation is. If you can just kind of one by one, we could start with Jada and just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jada. I'm a junior in high school. I'm 16. I go to laboratory school, University of Chicago Laboratory School.
I'm Taylor. I'm a junior. I'm 17, and I go to Homewood Flossmoor High School.
Okay.
Gotcha. My name is Obi Johnson. I'm a student at Leo High School.
So my name is Joshua. I'm a junior in high school. I'm 17, and I go to Leo High School, and I'm unemployed.
I'm Dorian Lewis. I'm 25. I am a college graduate, and I am a freelance photographer.
Okay.
I'm Chris, 25. I go to Illinois Tech studying architecture. I'm currently in my fourth year.
Gotcha. Okay, so my first question is, each of you has at least received one, if not both doses of the COVID vaccine. Was this a decision you made, or was it something that you were told to do?
It was a decision I made.
Mm-hmm. And what made you want to get the vaccine?
I mean, just in case it helped. I mean, I've taken other vaccines before and it didn't do anything to me. So, I mean, I just took this one just in case it did help.
Mm-hmm.
It was a choice of my own as well. I took it more so because, like I said, I am a freelance photographer, so I work in highly populated areas, and I also do a lot of traveling. So I know that they have travel restrictions for if you're not vaccinated or if you don't have a negative COVID test within 72 hours of your arrival to wherever you're going. So okay. I felt like it was a necessity.
Well, I took it by choice, only for the sake of returning back to campus. It's pretty much a requirement for students to, take the vaccine.
For me, I made the choice to get on my own. just because I just want this virus to go ahead and be over with.
So for those of you, when you made the decision to get the vaccine, had you heard any rumors or myths about the vaccine that had you concerned initially?
Yeah, for me, not really. It was half a decision. Like, both my parents just said I'm going to get it anyway. They signed me up. But I also wanted to take it by myself anyway. One, because my school will be mandatory in person coming the fall, and it just made more sense. And I think there's more risk not doing it than doing it. So I thought getting it would be more important. But I didn't hear that many rumors. Well, I guess there were like some floating around about like microchips and stuff, but I think that kind of goes with any new vaccine or medical thing in general. So I wasn't too worried about it. Besides the Johnson & Johnson blood clots, I wasn't super concerned, since that's not my age groups that we get the Pfizer one, or at least I got the Pfizer one. So I wasn't super concerned, and neither were any of my friends or any people that were surrounding me, unless they had preconditioning medical conditions.
Okay.
I also heard rumors. Oh, yeah. I also had heard rumors about like how it could have side effects on your health, but I feel like that's kind of like for any new vaccine. Like, people are just going to spread misconceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that it was like killing Black people, but that wasn't really true. But I knew that it wasn't really true. I did the research before I got the vaccine, and it wasn't true. So,
well, that was my next question. One of the things that came up in the discussion with the adults that we had was, did people do their research? Did people know that there were actually Black people, Black scientists who helped develop this vaccine? Were any of you all aware of the 2 Black doctors who were on these teams?
No, I wasn't.
I was.
Dr. Kizzy Corbett, the 34-year-old scientist, or the Nigerian doctor who worked on, I think he worked on Moderna, and Dr. Kizzy worked on Pfizer. But they were both, they've been on their teams for years developing vaccines for times like this. So they've actually been working on this for over 10 years in preparation. So a lot of people think it's something that just happened very quickly, but it didn't. Did any of you either personally have or know somebody who had COVID? Did that motivate any of you guys as well to get this vaccine?
Oh, yeah. Me and my whole family had COVID, but we were pretty much fine. We just experienced like flu-like symptoms.
And when was this?
Oh, this was in November.
Okay. So your whole family had it. Wow. Okay. Dorian?
So my family, actually one of my family members had it, but it wasn't too serious. I know they just said that they couldn't breathe, they couldn't smell for probably about a day or two, and then after that day or two, the symptoms started to clear up. One of my family members had got it, but they couldn't smell for maybe a day or two, but then it cleared up. And then that kind of like made me think like, okay, well, yeah, now it's getting very serious because it's kind of hitting closer to home. So now it's really time to get it.
My friends had it, and he had asthma, and I have slight asthma, and it was messing him up for about a week after he had it, because we played basketball at practice, and it was messing him up, and he was kind of breathing weird. But then after a week or so, he got better, and he was able to breathe normally again.
And did any of these, I know, my family, my son had COVID, but I've also known quite a few people with pre-existing conditions who have been hospitalized. Some have died. And that really kind of drove my decision as far as making sure not only I was safe, but making sure my family was safe. For those of you who are in high school, are you guys still in classes?
Yes.
Yeah, my school just went back like hybrid 4 days a week. So yeah.
Yeah, my school just went from having like each grade do one day. They started having all of the grades in together, in their in classes and in school together, and they minimized the length from 6 feet to 3 feet that they have to do now, and opened up like inside spaces and stuff. So I think a lot of schools are kind of opening up.
And now that you guys are vaccinated, do you guys feel more comfortable in classes?
I don't really, because some of my because my friends are good with getting the vaccine and are getting it, but a lot of other people aren't. So, and we only have like a month left of school, so I didn't really see the point in going back anyway. But I think that some people that aren't getting it and being around them, I mean, even as someone who lives with other people that might not have their vaccine yet, I wouldn't want to pass it to them yet.
So can each of you, and I'll go individually, I'll start with Taylor. Can you tell me what your experience was when you got the vaccine, where you got it? Did you have side effects? What was your experience?
I got the first one during my spring break, and I got it at like this CVS pharmacy, like 5 minutes away from my house. The first one was like fine. I didn't have any side effects. The second one though, I was like really, really tired and like really fatigued and drowsy, but that's pretty much it. Like overall, it was fine.
Mm-hmm. Chris?
Yeah, I got both of my vaccine shots. The Carthage Woodson Library, but pretty much what Taylor said. The first one was okay, it was just sharp pain, but the second one was fatigue for maybe under 24 hours.
Okay. Dorian?
Okay, so I received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine at Hillcrest High School. And for like the first 5 hours, I was fine. And then I probably experienced almost every symptom besides the loss of smell for a full 24 hours.
Now, the Johnson, that's the one dose, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Joshua, what was your experience?
So I got my first shot, and I got my first shot on, I think it was early this month, like the first few days into the month, and I get my second shot on the 21st. And I felt fine the day I got the shot. And the doctor told me that I could experience like flu-like symptoms, fatigue, things like that. And he told me that the likelihood of it happening was low, but he was just letting me know just in case. But the only thing that actually happened to me was my arm was like, it was really sore. It was like certain places I couldn't move it. And it basically kind of felt like my arm was hard to move, because it was like certain places I would move it, I couldn't feel myself moving my arm. It was a little limiting, to say the least. But that went away after about a few days.
LV?
My experience with side effects was, for the first hour or so, my arm just felt really sore. But then later in the day, my arm started to feel really heavy, and I started to have like a really bad headache. And the second day, I had kind of like a little bit of a fever. But after that, it was pretty much fine.
I want to ask, one of the things that continues to kind of circulate is this notion that people in your age group, basically 16 to 25, kind of young adults, early teens, just don't seem to take COVID seriously or think it's an issue. You see a lot in the news about young people out partying, blah, blah, blah. What do you say to people that think young people don't take this pandemic seriously?
It's definitely serious, because I had a family member who passed away because of it. So it's not something to take lightly, but there are a lot of people who aren't too cautious about it and haven't experienced anything pertaining to the disease. So I guess it's kind of hit or miss, because out of all the cases that there have been, I only know 2 people who've had it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know a lot of people, and it's not really me personally. I'm not overly cautious about it because I just feel like, I don't know it. I just feel like it wouldn't. No, I feel like nothing would happen to me. I haven't been sick since. I haven't been sick in about a year. So this, I just feel like it's definitely nothing to play around with, but I don't think it's. I think it may be over exaggerated a little, but it's definitely something that you may want to be cautious of.
Do you practice like, wearing a mask, social distancing, that kind of thing?
Yes, I always wear a mask when I go places.
I think that since like our age group is, I guess, more immune because we haven't had as much cases that end in like hospitalization or like death or anything like that. A lot of people like not like necessarily don't take it completely seriously, but at least they're a lot more lax about it because they think like, oh, even if I get it, like I won't be hospitalized, which like sure. But I guess for me, I even if I might not get hospitalized, I have friends that have like medical conditions, and I live with my grandparents, so like like before they were vaccinated, so I didn't want to spread that to them or anyone else around me, so I kept pretty strict with the guidelines and stuff. I guess now that stuff is opening up and more people that I know are vaccinated, I guess I feel less restricted, so I feel like I can go out, but not kind of like with like not following any rules, but feel less like I have to stay inside so I don't pass it to anyone else. So for me, it was less like preservation for myself and more preservation for the people around me that might be more at risk than I am.
I'm very curious to hear from Dorian and Chris because you guys are a lot older and have more freedom, as far as getting out. What has been you guys' experience, either personally or just with some of the people you know? Are your friends and the people you hang with, are they taking it seriously, or do they feel like, if I get it, I'll be cool?
My friends, so I have like a very immediate circle. So my friends, we're pretty much for the most part all vaccinated, and those who aren't, even though the ones who are vaccinated, even though I do have friends that are vaccinated, they still take the necessary precaution, just like myself, when going out and things like that. Like we still don't go to crowded places and do too much, but when we are together, we still take the necessary precaution as if we aren't vaccinated. So it's definitely taken serious, to say the least.
Yeah, I can say people who I interact, on a basis are taking it serious. I think it's the ones, the outsiders that are kind of in between and taking it serious, but then at the same time not taking it serious. I guess they're waiting for that next person to, take the vaccine just to see what could happen. Who knows, somewhere later on down the road, then they may consider. But for the most part, everyone that I know, family-wise, has taken it serious.
So now that most of you guys are fully vaccinated or on your way to be, did you guys feel differently afterwards? Was there a sense of relief about possibly getting back to some sense of normalcy, whether it be in school, sports, your career? What did you feel post getting this vaccine?
All right. Well, I definitely felt a sigh of relief because I'm not necessarily a paranoid person, but when it came to COVID, when we first had the quarantine and things like that, like I didn't see my family for like a very, very, very long time. So that was like real big because I don't have roommates, so like it just got like pretty boring, and I had to find like different stuff to keep myself entertained. So after I got vaccinated, I was like, okay, cool, I can finally go and be with my family, or go at least be with the immediate friends that I do hang with. So, like it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I went to my aunt's birthday, and we were all around each other. And then I had went to Atlanta 2 times throughout the pandemic. When the pandemic first started, then last month, and it was like I was scared to go anywhere because I thought that I would get the virus, and in Georgia, nobody wore a mask. So I will always wear a mask. And it was like, I knew the vaccine wasn't coming around for a while when it first started. So I was pretty scared. And now that I got the vaccine, I feel like it is more of a sigh of relief, like Dorian said, because I feel like I could kind of go more places and I could be around more people. But it's like, if they're not vaccinated, then it's like, I can't not wear a mask around them, or I can't be too close to them. And I play basketball, and we have AU tournaments like every weekend. So it's like, people still don't wear a mask, and it's like, I don't know if they're vaccinated or not. So it's kind of still scary, but it's like, I know that I'm vaccinated, and I know that I take the precautions. So it's like, it's kind of in my hands.
Yeah.
I would say for me, like, it was a sigh of relief because, like, most of my intermediate family and, like, my close friends are vaccinated too. So I guess it's, like, nice being able to, like, hang out with them and not really, like, worry as much. Yeah, like, or even, like, going back to school, like, knowing that, like, most of my teachers, like, are vaccinated, and, like, I mean, like, barely any kids came back to school anyway. Like, I'm in the classroom with, like, 4 kids, so I wasn't really that worried anyway. But, like, it just makes me feel safer.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I kind of felt the same. I mean, to me, it just felt like getting a flu shot. It was just, I just went on about my day, and everything, my attitude was still the same towards everything. But I mean, now it's a new thought in the back of my mind that I'm just waiting for the next vaccine, and I wonder, will I have different symptoms? Will my arm be sore again, or will it just have no effect on me at all? Mm-hmm. But other than that, it just, I still feel the same.
Yeah.
I felt a lot better. Well, I get my second dose tomorrow, but like most of my friends are all vaccinated or on their way to getting vaccinated. And then 90% of my family is all vaccinated. So I felt a lot better just generally, especially since like the first like 9 months of the pandemic, I couldn't really go anywhere with my friends because their parents were sick and mine are, about like keeping to like guidelines and stuff like that, which like makes sense, but I hadn't like seen them in person for a very long time. So now, especially since it's the summer, we've been able to go out a lot more and just hang out without having to worry about taking back to our parents and stuff who all have like underlying medical conditions. So I guess my friend group specifically was like really kind of strict about it, which might just be my personal experience. But for me, it felt a lot better because I feel like I could go out a lot more and not feel like I would be bringing back something or like sitting around kind of fearful for like 2 weeks. Wondering if like I had, especially if you were like asymptomatic or like you don't feel any symptoms whenever you get it, stuff like that. So I felt a lot better about it, and I will feel better about it after I get mine tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys had people who criticized your decision or feel very strongly about people not getting vaccinated? Did you get any pushback from anybody in your immediate circle?
I did. I got both doses, and one of my closest friends said that he wasn't gonna get it until like next year. He said 2022, when we're about to graduate high school. So he said he didn't want to get it until we graduate high school. So he said stuff like, "Oh, you fully vaccinated now." Stuff like I was gonna get sick and it wasn't gonna protect me or it was gonna do stuff to me. And my cousin, when I got fully vaccinated 2 weeks ago, May 1st, she was like, I was gonna turn into a zombie or something, and something was gonna happen to me. And it was like, they were like, "Why would you get both doses and stuff like that?" And I told them that the Pfizer was the safest one. So I really didn't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get pushback per se, but like my uncle and my older brother are kind of skeptical about it. And one of my friends has like a heart condition, so like he hasn't gotten it. He didn't criticize me, or like they didn't criticize me, but they haven't gotten it, so it's kind of like weird tension in those areas. Except for with my friend, because he's like starting to get back on track and about getting it, and that makes more sense for me because he has underlying health conditions. But it didn't necessarily like cause arguments or anything. It was just kind of weird.
Chris?
Yeah, I would say it wasn't more criticism. I think it was more optimism than anything, especially close ones, who are connected to me. We like to encourage each other to get vaccinated so we can do this and do that. But then also there's one person I went to high school with, I was having a conversation with earlier, who was, I guess still skeptical of not taking the vaccine shot. So I pretty much gave her my, my experience of, what happened, side effects, whether there's, side effects or whatever. So hopefully, what I told her kind of gave her a different approach, somewhere in the future, if she decides to take it or not. But hey, that's her deal. So
I was going to ask if any of you all do have people who may be fearful or skeptical of getting the vaccine. Have you been able to just share your experiences? We talked a lot about that with our older adult roundtable, where the process of kind of sharing what we went through or what our experience was helpful to the next person to make an informed decision that's based on facts and not necessarily, internet rumor or myths. Have you guys been able to maybe speak to people who may have been fearful and just talk to them in a very, not a confrontational manner, but just a conversational, kind of like how Chris described?
I've talked to a few people. I know I have a couple female friends who are kind of skeptical about getting it because they think that it's going to take away their ability to have children. So that's very important to them. So just kind of listening to their concerns and kind of trying to offer them any resources that I had found to help me get it, even though that wouldn't necessarily interfere. But yeah, just kind of trying to be a resource to people, and other than that, the people my male friends who haven't gotten it yet, they're actually looking to get it currently, so it works out.
If there was one thing that each of you could tell people, just period, about the importance of getting vaccinated, particularly in your age group, what would you say to someone your age about the importance of getting vaccinated?
Oh, I would say, everybody usually, for the most part, everybody's concerned about when the world is going to fully open back up. So my main thing when talking to them, I would say, the faster we all get vaccinated, the faster the world can kind of, I guess, go back to normal in a sense. But I feel like that it won't really go back to normal, at least for like a few years, because I'm still getting used to wearing a mask and breathing through a mask and things like that. So it's going to take some time to get used to. But that's the main point that I harp on when trying to convince people to do
it. I would tell some of my friends or people my age that soon you can't go out the country without the vaccine. We'll say that if you want to go out the country this summer, go to Mexico or Jamaica or something, and you gotta have the vaccine to go out the country. So if you want to have fun this summer, then get the vaccine.
To talk to my age group, since we're all like rising seniors. So there's like stuff that we want to do in our senior year, prom, actual graduation, like visiting colleges instead and doing like virtual college tours. And if like we don't get vaccinated now, we might not even be able to like go to college like physically, depending on where you're going. So I think kind of like it's a lot worse to not get it than to get it. Especially since I think our age group is only eligible for Pfizer, and most people have been fine. Because a lot of people I found at least have kind of like larped on the like small chance of like really bad side effects, which hasn't really affected, at least according to the statistics, hasn't affected a very large population. So I would just be like, if you want to have like an actual senior year where you're like in person, and be able to do all the things that seniors usually do, it's probably better to get it than to not get it.
I would say that you should get it. I mean, you don't actually have anything to worry about. The chances of something happening to you besides like having a sore arm or some of the common symptoms are really very low, to the point where you don't have to take any like precautions. And I mean, it's like a flu shot, really. It's not that many people who don't get flu shots because they think there's like something in it or something like that. I mean, if they want all of the lockdowns and the different rules that we have now that kind of alter our lifestyle or our social lives to change, then we need to just people need to just take the vaccine. I mean, or at least be more careful when it comes to going outside, because the only reason that it's even like still a major issue is because a lot of people don't take it seriously enough for anything to actually change. So in the least, people should take it more seriously.
Well, I was say, still encourage people, any age group, whoever they are, to get vaccinated, because there's a lot of opportunities in life that has been missed in the past year, and us being in front of a camera is a lot different from us being in front of somebody in person. It's a lot of in-person experience that we're missing. And for most of these guys here on this call who are currently in high school, it'll be best for them to really get back to that normal, you see what life is in person, and seeing it what it is virtually.
So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.